What up, fishes? Welcome back. It's me, boy Chillfish, come back with my boy here, Cyber Supreme. Now, as we promised you guys in our last video, we're going to be talking about the new Cyber Dragon support. So we're going to talk about each one of the new monsters and the new spell and trap that are just in Cybernetic Horizons. We're not going to talk about anything that's coming out post this. And so the first things first, the cutest Cyber Dragon monster that I did not think Core would get upbeat. This is Cyber Dragon Heart. Cyber Dragon Heart's Light Machine, level 1, 100. Shocker. You can use one of the 2 and 3 effects of this card's name only once that turn. One thing I do want to say real quick is that, especially since I did my Gravekeepers last year, or last week, is that a lot of cards are having 3 effects nowadays.
Yeah.
Which, I need to get reading glasses in general. This game is not helping me get reading glasses. So, number 1, this card's name is treated as Cyber Dragon while it's on the field or in the graveyard. Yep. Needed to have that. If this card is special summoned, yes, machine dupe. Special summon. You can activate this effect. This card level becomes 5 until the end of this turn. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except machine monsters. So let's talk about that effect real quick first.
Yeah.
I think that because it can go from a 1 to a 5 really quick, that does help in case you are kind of playing a slow game and you have like a dry on the field or another Cyber Dragon.
I honestly like it just because even if you don't want to go for your Xyz monster, it readily presents the option to you.
I'd rather have the ability to and not use it than you don't have it at all. So this is kind of like a weird combo of dry and core in a weird way.
And it circumvents, like if you summon Dry is an 1800 attack monster, which means it's susceptible to like Bottomless Trap Hole. This is 100 attack, 100 defense, so it kind of circumvents the whole danger of putting level 5s on the field.
I love the fact that it says special summon monsters except machine types, because that doesn't lock you out. Like other cards nowadays say you can't do anything but link summoning, or you can't fusion summon, or anything like that. This one says you just can't special summon besides machine types, which your whole extra deck goes for, which... One card that you should be running in this deck that we didn't talk about in our last video, I didn't realize, is Cleafort Genius, but this lets you still go into Cleafort Genius because it is a machine type. You can even link into that if you wanted to, or not, but you have that ability, because that really opens up your plays a lot. And the last effect is phenomenal. This basically, I don't want to say replaces Core, because they're very different, but it does add more to Core, which it says, if this card's into the graveyard, sent, you can add one other Cyber Dragon from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Now, the translation I'm reading just says if it is sent, so I'm going to assume that means by any means, but on Friday we'll double check that thing. But even if it just says sent from Link, or even like Contact Fusion, that's still huge. Or even just Battle or Spells, that's huge, because you could add a Cyber Dragon from your deck to your hand. So you basically can search out the level 5 Cyber Dragon, because nothing else becomes Cyber Dragon in the deck, but that still has a nice little thing, because Core gets you the spells, this gets you a monster.
Yeah. And honestly, those two things, they complement each other perfectly, because with this pack we're going to explore a little bit about the spells and traps. Cyber Repair Plant and Cybernetic Fusion support aren't the only viable options for cyber spell and trap cards in the deck anymore. You have things like Cyber Rev System,
which we'll get to.
We'll get
plenty of attention to that one,
and Cybernetic Overflow, which I'm particularly excited about. But if you're thinking about cutting down on cores in favor of Hertz, I would recommend find a comfortable 2-3 ratio.
Yeah, because I think you could. I would say initially at time of recording video 2 core and 3 Hertz, because that still gives you a fair amount. Because yes, you're thinking it's an extra normal summon level 1. Yeah, but that's not terrible. And also, this is also, if you wanted to run this, I'm just double checking real quick. Nothing has it against it, but you could run it as a 1-for-1 target.
Yeah, I was just thinking that,
which is also nice because core could be, but this is better. And it's also a machine dupe target. I think it's a little early, but I don't think Hertz should definitely be a 3 of.
Yeah.
Now, the last monster they're giving us, it's a main deck monster, is Cyber Dragon V. It says that this card name becomes Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. Again, thank you. If you normal special summon Cyber Dragon, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. You can only use this effect of Cyber Dragon Veer once per turn, and every Cyber Dragon you control gains 500 attack and defense. Now, the 500 attack and defense, not huge, but it's nice.
Helpful.
It's nice. It's nice. It could help out, especially if Cyber Dragon Affinities are on the board or has those attacks, and this comes up, you could do extra boost, which that's when I would see it's being most applicable.
Yeah, or even if you don't want to go into something right away, like Cyber Dragons in general don't boast a lot of attack. But giving that extra 500 turns your regular 2100 attack Cyber Dragon into a 2600 beater.
If you normal special summon Cyber Dragon, you can bring this out. Now, it's only once per turn you can bring this out, but that's
so helpful.
It also helps you go into the Contact Fusions if you want. You can link with it.
You could also go for Mega Fleet. Like if your opponent has a Link monster or something in their extra monster zone that's difficult to get over, you could special summon Cyber Dragon, normal summon Dry or any other machine monster, and then special summon him by his own effect. You have 3 monsters on the board. You eat 2 of them for your Link summon and bring out Zig or any other Link 2 monster that you could possibly have. And then you use the last Cyber Dragon that you have on your field to eat the extra Monster Zone monsters to bring out Mega Fleet at 3,600.
Do you think that this isn't going to be the best card in the world?
No, but every little bit helps.
I think definitely a solid 1, maybe 2 if you want to be, because you don't want to open 2 or 3 in your hand. And now the card that a lot of people had a lot of hype for, and then everyone quickly bashed it after they got the hype, is Cyber Dragon Seeger. Now, this is not the best card in the world. We both can admit that's not the best card. However, it is a Link, and it does help to an extent. As much as those arrows are kind of awkward and confusing, if you bring this back from the grave,
very helpful.
You have an arrow right there. You need to have just 2 machine-type monsters, including a Cyber Dragon. This card can become Cyber Dragon while it's face up or in the graveyard. Now, that already puts it up, I wouldn't say better, but puts it on a different league than Cyber End Dragon, for example.
Or any Cyber Dragon extra deck monster. It's the only Cyber Dragon extra deck monster that counts as a Cyber Dragon.
The second effect, during the battle phase, if this card did not attack, quick effect, you can target 1 machine-type monster you control with 21 or more attack. It gains that 21 until the end of the turn. Also, any battle damage either player receives from battles involving this card becomes 0 for the rest of the turn. I could see it being useful. Maybe. I don't see it coming. It is in the competitive spectrum. I don't see it being coming out as popular, but this effect is not terrible.
It can be helpful. First of all, you can use it on itself.
That's true.
So, like, if Seeger is the only thing that you have on your field and your opponent goes for the attack and tries to power over it, you can easily just use its effect on itself to destroy their monster without dealing any battle damage, and you have something and they don't. Alternatively, it does give you like a safe alternative to a limited removal, because like the only downside to that effect, nobody takes damage from attacks involving Seeger.
It does. But the thing too, another plus side too, is that it is a quick effect and it just says during the battle phase.
Yeah.
So it does mean, unless I'm terribly mistaken, feel free to correct me down below, guys, but it should say either player's battle phase. So like you were saying, it does add a little bit more. So the next thing is Cybernetic Overflow, which is a trap card, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first Cyber Dragon trap card we've gotten ever since the one in the structure deck. You can only use the first and second effects of Cybernetic Overflow once per turn. It's a normal trap card, so immediately, just because it is a trap, it's already slow. Banish any number of Cyber Dragons with different levels that are in your hand, in your graveyard, and or face up on your field. Then destroy that many cards your opponent controls. Already you have something kind of interesting, because in theory you would have at least, in a perfect hand, you would have at least 3 different things to destroy.
Yeah.
Because Cyber Dragon's a 5, Zir and Dry are 4s in the hand and on the board, and then Core and Hertz are 1s. If this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect, you can activate this effect. Add 1 Cyber spell trap card from your deck to your hand. That's interesting, because if you are playing in a spell destroying format, it still gives you a boon. If or not, it can still help you out, because it just says if it's destroyed by a card effect. And you know what this pairs really nicely with? Cyber Rampage Dragon.
Yes, it does.
If you bring up Cyber Rampage, you can pop as many which is good to know as you can, as many spell or trap cards on the field. You could pop other ones, you could pop this. So I feel like this is a very unique tech. You could run this if you're running Twin Twisters. You can discard, pop this too. The only reason I hate this card immediately is because Konami is juicing us here, as MSU TV once said, and giving us as a secret rare Cyber Rev system. Special summon 1 Cyber Dragon from your hand or graveyard, and if you do, it cannot be destroyed by card effects. The fact that it is a Monster Reborn plus with protection, this is nice because it does give you out of the graveyard. And I do think that Cyber Dragons are one of those decks that can definitely benefit from graveyard play. We talked about this. You can play with graveyard stuff. A Monster Reborn and a Soul Charge, I think, are mandatory in these decks if you want to get some good things out. And then this that's 5 more copies of it.
Yeah.
And you can obviously play like Call of the Haunted and other things too. That's not discouraging from that. But this is an extra 3 of. In my opinion, this would replace Call of the Haunted, in my opinion, just because it's a spell. It's a lot faster and quicker.
It's faster. There's no catch of sending it back to the graveyard if the card that got it went to the graveyard. And you can use 3 of them in the same turn.
You can. There's no once per turn stipulation.
This is Monster Reborn, like with an invincibility clause with no cost at all.
Which you know, and that's the thing too. That's the one thing I love about this too, is that they were smart. They made this, you can target a Cyber Dragon.
Yeah.
If they made this any more generic, we would all be crying to be more expensive and it'd be gone in a heartbeat.
Note, it's Cyber Dragon specifically, as long as its name is Cyber Dragon, not Cyber Dragon Infinity, not Cyber Dragon Nova, none of the fusions. It gives you back the base monster of the deck, which doesn't seem like it could do a whole lot, but when you consider how Zeger is Cyber Dragon in the graveyard,
all of the other monsters are in the graveyard.
Yeah. It gives you a whole lot.
This is what kind of our viewpoints on all the cards and effects and everything. Please subscribe for more video. If you guys see anything else from other sets or even Cybernetic Horizons that you guys want us to talk about, please let us know down below. We want to be here to serve you guys and kind of we want to make videos that you guys want to see. So basically, without further ado, it's your boy Chillfish and Cyber Supreme signing off.